Hello, hello! Welcome to reality TV. This is Delilah, your host. I just made myself some tea because we need to talk about something important. In this video, we're discussing Guerdy Abraira from Real Housewives of Miami opening up about being left out of Real Housewives' Ultimate Girls Trip and her powerful new book about trauma and healing. Let's get into it. Guerdy revealed in a recent interview with Miami Vibes magazine that she wasn't contacted to be on Real Housewives' Ultimate Girls Trip, and she called it surprising because she's been part of the reboot from the very start. For context, Guerdy joined Real Housewives of Miami in Season 4, when the show was rebooted after 8 years off the air. She came to the U.S. at 9 years old and didn't speak any English, so her story is incredibly inspiring. The new season of Real Housewives' Ultimate Girls Trip is celebrating the Real Housewives' 20th anniversary, and numerous housewives from various cities came together to film, but Guerdy was noticeably absent. She said, "Truthfully, I wasn't contacted for that, and it was surprising, especially since I've been part of the reboot from the very start. It would have been nice to be included and celebrate the milestone. But what matters most to me right now is staying locked in on me and the here and now." Now, some fans are speculating that Guerdy might not return to Real Housewives of Miami next season, and honestly, if she's focusing on herself and her healing journey, I completely understand. Speaking of her healing journey, Guerdy is releasing a new book called From Trauma to Trophies, and what she shares in this interview is incredibly powerful. If you're watching this and you've been following Guerdy's cancer battle, make sure you drop a comment and hit that like button. Guerdy shared how her definition of trauma has evolved. She said, "Trauma is not just the big, obvious moments. It's also the stuff that sits in your body and shows up in how you move through life, how you try to control everything, how you keep going even when you're running on empty." Cancer added a whole new layer. It forced me to really look at what stress and survival mode had been doing to me for years, and it made me rebuild myself from the inside. The hardest truth, while making this book, was realizing she used being busy as a shield. She thought if she kept working, planning, creating, handling everything, then she was fine. But a lot of that was her avoiding the parts of her life that hurt. Cancer made it impossible to keep pretending she could power through everything. This is so real, and so many people can relate to this. Guerdy also revealed how her identity has changed. She said, "Honestly, my identity used to be shaped by adaptation. I had to. Different countries, different languages, different rules, different expectations. So I became a chameleon before I even knew what that was. That's in my story, the constant resetting, the constant figuring it out. But now what shapes me is self-respect. I know who I am, I know what I survived, and I know what I built. I'm not trying to be palatable anymore." I love that for her. I'm not trying to be palatable anymore. That's the energy we need in 2026. Guerdy has been through so much with her cancer journey, and to see her come out the other side with this level of self-awareness and strength is truly inspiring. So even though she wasn't included in Real Housewives' Ultimate Girls Trip, Guerdy is clearly focused on her own journey and her own healing. And honestly, that might be exactly where she needs to be right now. Do you think Guerdy should have been included in Real Housewives' Ultimate Girls Trip? And are you going to check out her book, From Trauma to Trophies? Let me know in the comments. See you in the next one.